lot of news moving the markets this week. So how did it help us? Did it hurt us? We're going to find out. Let's talk about it on today's call. So here we go. Yesterday, much anticipated consumer price index report, much better than expected, y'all. The market was expecting a 3% read on year over year inflation, came in at 2.9%. So better than expected inflation news helped interest rates. Bond market rallied nicely yesterday, but it was short-lived. Today we get retail sales up 1%. It was expected to come in 0.3% higher, y'all. So we had a dramatically stronger retail sales report today that really took the wind out of the sails of the notion that we are careening towards a recession, y'all. And here's the thing. Bonds like a recessionary environment. When folks are worried about corporate earnings and they're worried about the stock market, then they're going to put their money somewhere, and they generally put that money into fixed income securities, bonds included, or bonds in particular rather. When they do that, that bids the price of bonds up and it pushes the yield that you're paying on those bonds down. That brings our interest rates down. So recessionary fears, good for interest rates. This strong retail sales report today took a lot of those recessionary fears out of the market, y'all. Consumers are still spending. When you look at the Dow over the last 30 days, we don't do a lot of reporting on the Dow, but you go back 30 days on the Dow, we sat at an all-time high. 41.2 is where the Dow was back on the 16th of July. Today, as the time of this recording, it's 40,500 or so. It's up over 400 points today on the strength of this retail sales report. Y'all, that's going to pull money out of bonds. When you pull money out of bonds, the price drops. Guess what the yield does? Moves higher. So we're seeing interest rates higher today than they were yesterday, about 10 basis points higher. Here's where the market has us, according to Mortgage News Daily, for the 30-year fixed rate conforming loan. This is a national average, y'all. This is not where our rates are. This is just the national average. We were sitting in that survey at 6.58% today. We were at 6.34%, y'all, back on the 5th. So 10 days ago, rates were a quarter of a point cheaper than they are today, but they're still better than they were 30 days ago. We were at 6.81 30 days ago in that same survey. So interest rates are a mixed bag. We had seen them nicely improving over the last 30 days as recessionary fears were rattling the markets. Y'all, if you look at the Dow, 30 days ago, the Dow, we've had a 2,400 point swing in the Dow in the last 30 days based on these recessionary fears that the market was pricing in. Strong reports like the one we got today suggest that's less of a concern. Dow has recovered pretty dramatically as a result of that, putting pressure on bonds, and that's where we sit today, y'all. How far will that go? Will we get some additional news that moves the markets? Well, we always do, and we're going to keep an eye on it for you. There is one other topic that I want to address that we haven't really discussed, and that is the NAR settlement and how the industry is going to handle seller-paid buyer-agent commissions going forward. There was a strong concern, y'all, by the mortgage industry and by all of those affiliated with housing and financing housing that any commissions that were paid by the seller on the buyer's behalf would be considered interested party contributions. That is important because every loan program out there has limits on the amount of concessions that a seller can pay for a buyer. It varies by loan program, it varies by amount down. There are certain loan programs that are very restrictive in this. As an example, a conventional investment purchase caps, regardless of how much a buyer might put down, seller contributions at 2%. Well, that creates a situation where if a seller is paying a commission for a buyer and that commission is 3%, that we already have a loan that's not closable because we've exceeded interested party contributions for an investment purchase. That's just one example of what the industry was concerned about. Well, last week, Fannie Mae helped us. Fannie Mae in conjunction with Freddie Mac and Ginnie Mae. So we're talking conventional loans, VA loans, and FHA loans. We have broad now understanding from Fannie that interested party contributions will exclude commissions paid by the seller on behalf of the buyer's agent. That is a dramatic win for us, y'all. That means business as usual with regard to commissions. How we count for that, call me for information on that. How we know what the seller is doing with regard to that is important. So we're going to need that buyer representation agreement to accompany the contracts when we receive them so that we know how to properly disclose those commissions on the LE and on the CD that we're providing our buyer. We do want to make sure it's properly disclosed as to who's paying for it. So call me for more information and details on that if you have any questions or concerns about it. These will not show up as seller concessions in the purchase agreement itself. That's an important distinction. We've seen some folks say, hey, I'm going to put these seller paid concessions in paragraph 12 of our Texas promulgated contract. That's not where that's going to go, y'all. Those are specific, that paragraph in the contract specifically concerns buyer closing costs paid by the seller, does not include commissions. So in any event, call me if you have any questions on how to get your contracts written in a way that is closable for the loan that we're doing. And I'll be happy to walk you through how we need to do that. In any event, I hope this information is helpful for you and for your clients. As always, we are here for you, and we are honored to have your referrals. All my contact info is on the screen. Stay blessed, stay safe. We will talk to you next week.